And we should be live. So sorry, YouTube. I do 2 live streams, so I stay silent until Facebook's on. But we are live. Welcome to our Once Upon a Time marathon, and right on time too. It was 6:59. I kind of started a few seconds early. Facebook was right on time. I'm pretty sure 1-2 seconds late, doesn't matter. And then YouTube, I know, started before it was 7 o'clock. But anyway, we start usually at 6:50, so I am actually 10 minutes late. You're probably wondering why I said that, but I tried sending a message out 15 minutes ago. I forgot to remind everyone about the marathon. I was going to do that earlier, right before something, and then I didn't do it, and then I forgot. So then after I was doing what I was doing, I had to run. I had to hurry and do it as I was running back home to do this. I was at a party, so all right. Anyway, but now we're back. I was really hosting a really fun Kahoot. Kahoot's an online gaming system where you do quizzes and make up stuff, make up quizzes, make up fun stuff. It's really fun. You should try Kahoot sometime. You can make your own quizzes and make your own account. It's pretty fun. But yeah, one Kahoot we played took way longer than I thought. I thought we could finish it by 6:15, but we finished it at 6:25. And then when I realized it was 6:25, I'm like, okay, we gotta go now. Let's leave now. Which, if we would have left right when I said let's go, I guess technically starting at 7, we could have started on time at 6:50, just barely making it on time. Because I was not ready to go till 6:59. So imagine it being 6:49. I would have barely been able to make it, realizing I lost track of time like that. But when I try to get everyone out of the house, when you're in a family of 6, you know how long that could take, pushing all the kids and parents out of the house. 10 minutes, and you would think it's the kids holding us back. No. Yeah, in our family, it's technically the parents. My mom loves talking, and my dad loves waiting for her. So it's the parents. It's the anyway, it took 10 minutes, so we didn't leave till 6:35, and and then we rushed home. I got my live stream ready, but you see, that's why we started late a little bit, but not too bad. Technically, we start the show at 7, like it used to air, 7 Mountain Standard Time, 7 Mountain Daylight Time as well. Here in Utah, that's what time it aired. For other people, it probably was 8. It's probably 8 o'clock now where you're watching it. Anyway, the point is, despite the time zones, you all live in, the show started at the same time. So like if it started at 7 for me, that means it was 8 o'clock while it was 7 o'clock at the same time. Like, it's not like, 7 o'clock, which means they're not going to watch. That means the people over in Africa are not going to watch it for like an hour. No. It's 8 o'clock while it's 7 o'clock here. So anyway, that's just how time zones work. And so anyway, yes, you're still no matter what time it is, this is the normal time that Once Upon a Time would air. It may not be 7 for you. It may not be 8 for you. It's like whatever right now is. So yes, and Once Upon a Time was actually known for starting early, like 6:58 usually. The earliest I've ever seen an episode air was 6:57. Well, that's not actually true. The season 5 finale actually started at 6. They gave us it was a 2-hour episode. Like our 2 double length episodes. We've been across those in our marathon already. We had it with Frozen, Queens of Darkness, and our first one was the Back to the Future episode. So yes, we've had 2-hour episodes before, and usually they're from 7 to 9, or now for the next 2 hours, you know what I mean. It's a different time zone where some people are at, but you know what I mean. 7 to 9, 8 to 10, whatever. It's now till 2 hours later, right? But there was 1 year they started 1 hour earlier, and that was the season 5 finale, which we're not getting to tonight. But it's kind of ironic that I'm talking about this, and we are actually in the Underworld's second half of season 5. So in a couple weeks we will be watching that episode, but I'm probably not going to start an hour earlier. I like 7 better. Once Upon a Time, most of its episodes started at 7 here in Utah. The only episodes that didn't was season 5 finale. Now I can't say this about season 1 and 2 because I didn't watch it live. I was introduced to the show for season 3, and I watched it on demand, not on ABC. Uh, just um, just um, just from what I've seen on the second half of season 3 and onwards, and memorizing the show from front to back, even when it was airing. I'm just crazy like that. I'm a nerd, right? Every single episode aired at 7 Utah time, except for the season 5 finale that was from 6 to 8 instead of 7 to 9. And then there was a season 6 episode 3 because of the election in 2016, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. If you remember when he was running for president back in 2016, Once Upon a Time actually ran 2 elections. And they had one, I guess, during season 2 back in 2012, but I wasn't here for that, so I don't know if the episode started later or not. But I know season 6, how a term in the United States for being president is 4 years. In 2016, the show's still being on the air. Season 6, episode 3, that aired at 9 p.m. because of the election that went from 6 to 9. So they couldn't do the show at 6. They couldn't do it at 7. They couldn't do it at 8. So they had to do it at 9. And then ABC has their world news at 10. So the last television show they air is usually at 9. And it's usually not Once Upon a Time. They usually do other sci-fi thriller shows, It's just Sunday night's a great night for Disney, and they usually like to do their Disney shows and fairy tale shows first. And so it's not usually normal for Once Upon a Time just to be way late at night. But anyway, we watched that episode, and it was at like 9 p.m. But anyway, we've already had a night like that. Do you remember that one time in Frozen, I overslept and then we did the marathon at midnight? That was not nostalgic at all. Once Upon a Time never aired that late. But that should probably make up the 3 episodes we watched after midnight would probably count for that 10 p.m. Anyway, but we're not going to start earlier, so never mind about that season 5 finale thing, Other than those 2 episodes, every episode has usually started at 7. Every single episode. No, I shouldn't say usually. Exactly. Fact, every episode except for those 2. Well, then you have all of season 7 that aired Friday night, but still the same time, 7. So anyway, I'm just rambling on. I bet you're ready to start Once Upon a Time. I hope you had a great Valentine's Day. As you know, as I mentioned over this past week, we have Hook's brother from Neverland. Remember him? He died in Neverland. We got to see the origin story of Captain Hook and how he was born, how he became an evil pirate. It was because of his brother's death. Not really. I mean, I know he was more evil when Rumple killed his girlfriend, Mila, who we just saw last week as well. She fell in the River of Lost Souls thanks to Rumple, and she never even got to see Hook because, she was almost about to meet Hook in the underworld, but, she hasn't seen Hook since Rumple killed her, so it's like she was hoping to be reunited, and Rumple, being forced by Hades, destroyed that opportunity. It's kind of awkward because Emma was in love with Mila's son, and they got married and had Henry, and then she now is in love with Captain Hook, which is Mila's ex. So it's kind of funny. Well, not Mila's ex. It would have been probably Mila's husband if Rumple didn't kill her. They probably would have got married, and but it's like, okay, Emma marries a guy named Bellfire, and then he marries almost pretty much her mother-in-law, or no, father-in-law. Sorry, not father-in-law, because Hook is not Rumple's father. I mean, Hook is not Neil's father, Bellfire's father. But in a way, it's kind of gross, So you fall in love with this gal, and she dies, and then you fall in love with your mother-in-law. That would be in my scenario. Mother-in-law. Yeah, I don't want to marry my mother-in-law. That's how weird Once Upon a Time is. Because Hook was kind of a father figure to Neil. if you watch season 2 and all. But anyway, it was kind of weird. Mila, weird, underworld, awkwardness. And Rumple's like, let's move on before this gets even more awkward. So we're about to see how more awkward things can get. But anyway. Uh, yes, Hook was an evil pirate before then, though. Maybe not as evil till Rumple killed Mila, but he was kind of against the law and stuff at least. And maybe he wasn't evil pirate as in kill people yet, but he was against the law after Liam died. So anyway, he was a righteous followed the law kind of pirate until the king and the law tricked him into find some poison on Neverland that eventually killed Hook's brother. So anyway, just to remind you on who Hook's brother was, and that's who we're gonna see in the episode we're watching right now, 7:10. Let's get going. I purposely starting 10 minutes late because our live stream started 10 minutes late. It started on time as far as show goes, but all right. But now those 10 minutes are up, so let's just get started. But our other 2 episodes for tonight, we have the Wicked Witch coming back, and we have Gaston. Gaston from like Beauty and the Beast Kill the Beast kind of Gaston. Uh anyway, you Gaston was in season 1. We only saw him in 1 episode, so that would be cool. So that's all we're gonna see tonight. It's gonna be fun. So let's get started. Timestamp 7-Eleven. Great. Hey, 7-Eleven. Go to 7-Eleven. Get your slushies. It's also going to be 9/11 before our live stream ends, too. So eventually we'll have both kind of coincidences. Let's start at 7-Eleven. No. 7-Eleven the time. We're not going to have a live stream at 7-Eleven. Is my volume up? My volume better be up. Okay. So 43 minutes and 45 seconds. I'll give us a countdown. Just to be clear, I do say another number after 1. So when I say 3, 2, 1, don't push play. Say wait until I say 0. Okay. All right, here we go. So 43 minutes and 45 seconds if you have Disney Plus. All right. Otherwise, figure it out. Okay. 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, this earbud does not work. That's why I didn't hear it. Wow. Remember when James kissed Snow White? Charming's twin brother? That's gross. Henry broke the quill so no one could be the author. That's cool. And now Henry's gonna help Henry's gonna help Koala find the author's pen. Henry's the author. He's connected to that quill. And what is Henry actually looking for? That's not the pen. It's the apprentice. Wow, we haven't seen him since he was actually in the first episode of season 5. He didn't die on his deathbed in season 4 finale. He actually stayed alive for one more scene in season 5, episode 1. When he told them about the apprentices one and how it could help them get to Camelot. So actually, his departure wasn't that long ago. It was in this season, but barely in this season. He was mostly last season's character. So the quill is in the apprentice's house, and Sheriff James Charming, well, Charming's evil twin brother, stole the key from the apprentice, and it's in the sheriff's department. So he has to make two trips: sheriff's apartment, and then to the sorcerer's mansion. And there's Hook's ship. I know we're getting a Hook flashback, obviously, because this is connected to Liam. When they were good pirates until Liam died. How did they become pirates? This is how we're gonna find out. And Hook is still bloody and disgusting all over his body as usual until Emma heals him. Now we don't have to see a gross, nasty, blood all over body Hook. Even the cuts and scratching limbs are all healed, so he's not as tortured or disgusting anymore. So Hook doesn't want to be saved, huh? Hook does not want to be saved. Makes Emma's trip to the underworld worthless. Because that's the only reason she came down here. She wouldn't just come down here to see what it looks like. That's silly plot. Who do we care what the underworld looks like? Yep, Liam's the older brother, remember? That's why he was captain and Hook was just a servant. Anyway, Hook's the younger brother. Man, remember, and we found out when Hook was the dark one that he had a younger brother named Liam as well, a half a brother, different, you know, two brothers from a different mother, like same father, half brother. He has a full on same mother and father Liam, and then he has another half brother, just father Liam. So you have an older brother who shares the same parents as you, and then that parent gets a divorce or something. They remarry and they name their next child after the first one. Like, so you have two brothers with the same name, one who shares both parents and one who only shares one. So anyway, we met the other Liam in the last episode of the Camelot arc. So he will come back in the series later on at some point. Some point. At some point, there will come a time where I won't say later in the series because there's not much series left to say later to. I mean, as the first 2 seasons were, the last 2 seasons are not even half season arcs. Only the middle seasons, besides 2 and 6, have half season arcs, and this is our last one. We're heading into the final 2 seasons soon. You're making me blush. I mean, yeah, let's defeat Hades. Come on, guys. We need to find his weakness. Yep, the Henry's book. It's kind of magical. Maybe there's a book about the underworld. The underworld is kind of like the season 1 curse in a way. I mean, did you see that in last week's episodes in one of the episodes at the very end, just like the pilot where the clock moves from 8:15 to 8:16 and Henry smiles. There was a scene in the when Cora was working for Hades and trying to get Regina to leave. There was a scene where Regina looked at the clock. It was 8:15. It changed to 8:16, and then we watched Cora go get to get punished by Hades. And that was the end of the episode. Do you remember that? 8:15. 8:15. So anyway, so it's kind of like a curse. Everyone's trapped here, and unlike the curse where they forgot who they are and they need to try to remember who they are. This is different. The other thing, this is not really a curse, but the kind of thing this is that everyone's trapped in the underworld, and just like the curse where you're trying to break the curse and make everyone remember who they are. There's not really a curse to break, but you're trying to help everyone resolve their unfinished business and move on, which is kind of and every time the clock moves, every time when time moves, because time was frozen for 28 years until Emma came into town and the curse broke and time started moving again. In the underworld, time's frozen, and every time a soul moves on to heaven, the clock moves again. Oh boy. Liam, trying to be a stubborn older brother, thinks Emma's not good enough for Killian, and is kind of doesn't approve of it. Oh yeah, the reason why I mentioned the season one curse is that the reason why these are similar is because of the book. Since there was a book that had all the fairy tales in it and they were all true, kind of like the Book of Mormon and the Bible, kind of too. You know, kind of like that too, where you have a book based on history, but you know it's true. Yep. Yeah. David, Prince Charming didn't know that his twin brother kissed Snow. Who wasn't there when he when they did that? No one should mess with the Jones, the brother Jones, Cook and Liam. He's gonna tear it up. He's ripping up the contract. I like that. I like that phrase. Come hell and high water, I will not leave my brother. He will stand up for his brother. He's not going to leave him behind. No soldier gets left behind. You can see Liam was a good older brother. He looked after his younger brother and didn't leave him behind. So even though he gambled and was drunk, he chose to face the consequences with him. And Hades now wants to, in present day, Hades wants to make a deal with um Liam. I wouldn't drink anything from Hades. You are a bad guy, Hades. Some people call you the devil. Oh, so Hades is threatening Liam, and and if he doesn't destroy the storybook, the ones that have his weakness, the ones that have the pages that have a chapter that has Hades' weaknesses in it. If Liam doesn't destroy the pages, then he will tell Hook the real reason that he's down here. The real reason Liam is down here is because of a mistake he made behind his brother's back. Well, they found the key in the sheriff's station. And Coelho's coming out. Gotta pretend to be your evil brother, I guess. Hey, me and Coelho have white hair, but I don't have black, so haha. Wait a second. Wait a second. You know the ink that spilled on Coelho? I'm surprised that's still on her, even though she's dead. Wouldn't that stay on her dead body? Hook hasn't forgiven himself of the mistakes he made, or no, he hasn't forgiven himself of being the Dark One and killing himself to sacrifice to destroy the darkness, only to find out Rumple took it. Oh, peanut butter and chocolate. It's Valentine's. Eat candy. Uh huh. Hook loves his brother a little too much. Normally, in most commentaries, we talk about a lot of the behind the scenes stuff and how the plot came to be and how the actors were casted and stuff. Ah, I should really look up some information that would be useful, so I'm not just repeating what's going on as we're watching it. At the start, it was easy to talk about, because I know a bunch of things from the main cast members. Like I might have mentioned about how Lana got the part of the evil queen, and how before Henry even got his part, she knew that Jared Gilmore was going to be her son, and little did she know that he was right. She also when Lana found out she got the part, it was over a phone call where she thought they had the wrong number, and they said, "Hello, is Regina there?" And I said, "Wrong number. Hello, is Regina there? Wrong number." And it says, "Lana, you got the part," after like 5 calls. Just because your name's not Regina doesn't mean it's going to be. Doesn't mean it will be eventually. It won't be eventually. Anyway, I mentioned probably a lot of stories during season 1, and because usually you do commentary on movies most likely on YouTube. Like, yeah, Once Upon a Time reactions can be found, but they're usually people who are watching it for the first time. If you wanna watch commentary on something that's already been watched multiple times, it's usually YouTubers that do that, or, like, when you go on DVD bonus features, there's usually commentary on movies, and sometimes even Once Upon a Time has commentaries on certain episodes, but not all of them. Sorry, I had a hiccup. Um, anyway, but as far as YouTube goes, usually people don't do commentaries on TV shows, they do it on movies, and they talk a lot about behind the scenes and stuff like that. And even I did commentary on Back to the Future and talked about how Michael J. Fox was hired and how Eric Stoltz was hired. I talked about all that stuff. But when you do a TV show and you want to do commentary on every single episode, you run out of things to talk about. Even if each episode, even it, I like this. Hang on. Don't argue with your mother. Henry's tired of being on the sidelines. He wants to actually help out and be a hero. And Emma, they just want him. They just want him. All they want to do is have him keep a lookout for bad guys or something. And Henry thinks that's boring. And Regina's like, "Don't argue with your mother. Don't argue with Emma Swan or your other mother." Like that's funny. Don't argue with your mother or your mother because there's two mothers. Don't argue with Regina, the evil queen, or Emma Swan. Anyway, and there's Liam destroying the pages. But what was I saying again? Oh yeah, but yeah, you see, yes, but like when it comes to filming each episode, even when filming each episode is different, a lot of the stories end up the same. Like, yes, the stories on how certain actors were hired, that's understandable, and every episode will probably have a new actor in it. You know, because like Liam was not introduced to us till season 3, and maybe if I knew the story of how the actor got hired to play Hook's brother and his knowledge of Once Upon a Time before entering the show, I would share it if I knew something like that. But, like, you get to a point where as far as the main cast members go, you end up telling all the stories of everything you know about them, and even if you look up something else or you look up more trivia, with the show being so long and especially 178 episodes long, you kind of run out of trivia and run out of things to say about episodes because, in a movie, you have 2 hours to talk, and that's usually enough. But once upon a time, you'll go on weeks and months and a whole year for a marathon right now, and it's like wow, Cruella is really evil. Sorry, I keep talking and stop myself because Cruella, knew Prince Charming wasn't Prince Charming because he doesn't share the same damage James is going through. He doesn't act jealous. He may look like James, but he doesn't act jealous like James. Quella just wanted to smooch and kiss him everywhere, treating Charming like an idol almost. And then and then Charming's like, I find this impulsive. So let's stop it right now. And Coella's like, can't you be James a little longer? And he's like, yes, one day you two are gonna meet, and it's gonna be one heck of a reunion because he hates you for, you know, it's not really Charming's fault. He was only a baby I mean, it's really the mother's fault for having to pick between her children. You should never pick. You should love your children equally. Equally, you should not pick favorites. And she chose David. So it's kind of anyway. Understand where James is coming from, but you can't blame it on Charming. He was only a baby. He couldn't choose who to be with. Hook is really against Emma right now, protecting his brother, thinking his brother's perfect, and Emma's trying to. He's not perfect, and Hook is upset. He doesn't like how Emma's talking about his brother. But yeah, the reason why I just say what's going on is because sometimes you just run out of things to say after a long time. Like, yes, maybe for all of season one, I found enough to say. Like, maybe I don't need. I'm of a talker. I can stand longer than 2 hours talking about how characters were casted and stuff, but not usually. I think even I have my limits, and longest time I've ever went talking without stopping is about 5 hours to six, which is equivalent to 8 episodes of Once Upon a Time. So the fact that I've been lasting this long is crazy. And it was 22. Yeah. If I had good conversation for 22 episodes of one season, then that's good. And if Once Upon a Time was only a season, that would probably be good. Not good because I loved how it went longer, but good on the commentary. But the fact there's like more than one season, let's run out of things to say by season two, three, and four, and now five. Liam called Hades a demon, and Hades is like, people keep making that mistake. I'm God. He blows his hair on fire. He has blue hair like the Disney movie. His hair's a little more better in the land of the living than it is in the underworld. So Hades is gonna make a deal so that Liam and Hook will survive, and that's the jewel of the realm. That's the stone that the king is looking for. So they'll be rewarded if they find that stone. Liam has to make a choice: either let the ship sink and have and take the stone and be rich, or save everyone's lives and get punished by the king for not finding the Isle of the Stone. Liam has to get out of the picture because this is just between him and him and Hook and Emma now. Wow, you got red-handed, Liam. Now you're no longer the hero Hook you had dreamed of. Yeah, you gotta know that even the heroes you look up to are not perfect. The only person that ever was perfect was Christ. Doesn't matter how much you look up to someone, they're not perfect. Even if you view them as a perfect being. Like there are many people who fall away from the church because they expect prophets to be perfect. It's not the case, people. It's not the case. Too much burden on a person. I ate all my candy. Not all my Valentine's candy, but the stuff I got today from one of my grandparents. Little does Hook know that Liam is actually going to kill the whole crew. Oh, so this guy from the who died from the ship ended up walking in on Hades and Liam's conversation. Some of these people that died on that ship walked into Hook and Liam and Hades' conversation. Yep. Hook lied, and then Liam lied to Hook and betrayed his own little brother. He tried really hard to put his brother first, and he sacrificed the big offer just to, pay for his brother's crimes of drinking and gambling. So now, he did the opposite. He cared about his brother, of course, but he didn't care about the rest of the crew. Hades is coming to join the party. He doesn't want to miss this. Well, I don't want to ever run across paths with this guy. He'll just kill me in an instant, even if I did nothing wrong. Now you're in like hell. Throw in the fire. Wow, that's poor judgment on him. He's an evil character. Yes, I think he is kind of evil. The fact that he's bullying on the Jones. He's the guy he was the pirate who kind of bullied on and gambled it stole Hook's money from him. So he was a bad person in his days. Yes, he definitely goes to outer darkness or to T-Lest or whatever. No, no, not Liam! Catch him! Hades threw Liam into the fiery pit, but Liam's not following because he Hook grabbed his hand. He's hanging on the ledge. Oh no! Don't fall in the fiery pit! Don't fall into damnation! Anyway, come on, come on, Liam. Come on, Liam. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself of the sin you made about killing everyone on the boat. Hook just dropped his brother into the fiery pit. Oh, wait, wait. His judgment was righteous. Liam's not going to hell or outer darkness. Looks like he gets a kind of a celestial kingdom of glory here. because the fiery pit turned into a nice canoe on the water. How cool is that? He gets to go sailing. How fun! I bet a pirate's dream from the 1700s, or because there used to be pirates back then, or like sailors who love sailing. And, I bet this is what their heaven will look like when they go to heaven. If they live righteously, I bet the Lord has a oceanly heaven made for them. I once read a post about someone who just passed away, and they loved art, and they just couldn't find enough time to do it in this life, and now they're praying that they're going to be somewhere where they can just paint all the time and stuff. Anyway. Yep, and the whole crew is going to heaven with Liam. He gets to share his whole entire heaven with a whole crew of people except for Hook. He's even inviting Hook to go to heaven with him, but Hook's is not done yet. Hook is wanting to stay to help defeat Hades. Look, Liam is saying you became a better hero than I ever could. So don't look at me as your hero anymore. You're your own hero, Hook. I look up to you. You look up to your younger brother. How sweet. Liam's passing the torch on to Hook. Hook's now filling the role of leadership. Liam sails away to his heavenly paradise. Anyway, that was a nice judgment. That'd be cool if that's how final judgment worked. You stand above a fiery pit, and God would judge you on whether you just burn for eternity or you go to a nice afterlife. Anyway, I'm sure it's not going to be like that at all. In fact, I have pictures in actual courtroom. But anyway, yes, happy ending for Liam Jones. But that's the end of Hook's brother. We'll never see him again. The other brother of Captain Hook, whose also name is Liam, that we just got introduced to a few episodes ago, we will see him in season 6. Oh wait, we're seeing Liam in this flashback right now. I guess we're not done seeing him in the episode. This flashback is proving that they did survive the wreck. And Liam fulfilled his deal with Hades and with the Isle of the Stone, and for their lives. And now they're gonna get their own pirate ship and become righteous pirates, service to the king. That's the Jolly Roger. Now we know how Hook and Liam got the Jolly Roger. The only thing that happens next is they go to Neverland and Liam dies. We got the whole story now. They went from slaves to pirates. Hook and Liam were slaves and they became pirates. All because Liam made a deal with Hades. Yeah, that he obviously backfires in the underworld. Yep, Liam moved on to a better place. He's in a happy paradise heaven. Imagine you leave the spirit world, and that's how judgment looks like. But a whole entire Pride Rock cliff, and you just walk off, and you either get burned in the fire or what? God just poofs that into the ocean. Anyway, that's a good way. That's a good way. That's a good way of how I could do judgment. Just kidding. That's funny. I wouldn't want to see some of my children get hurt like that. Anyway. We haven't seen Henry in a while. Remember the episode started with him finding the quill. But obviously, that's not what the episode was meant to focus on. So we had a lot of Captain Hook and Killian. I mean, Killian Jones is Captain Hook. A lot of Captain Hook and Liam. Remember, his name is Killian Jones, so you know their last name was Jones for a while, ever since season two, I guess, because that's when Hook joined the cast. You know, it's funny. Charming also has a brother, but he's a twin. Will Charming's brother move on? I know the answer to that, but I'm not going to tell you. Not everyone gets to move on. Let me just tell you that, though. Not everyone moves on. We saw Mila get pushed into the River Lost Soul. She suffered a fate worse than death. Yeah, maybe Henry doesn't want to talk to his mothers. A mother. Yep. James grew up a prince. Prince is pretty cool. That means you're rich and you hold a kingdom in your hands. But James wanted a mother. Anything, people will give anything to have what Henry has. Henry is blessed to have two moms. Because he has someone to talk to. James has no one to talk to because he never had a mother. King George never married. King George is not even his father. He's his stepfather. James never had a mother. He never grew up knowing who his mother was, and he's so mad about it. Too bad Henry's. You know what they should have done? They should have brought Charming's mother here. She died. She should have been in the underworld. She has unfinished business too. She never got to make up for giving up James. Where's Charming's mother? That's something I gotta ask the creators. Why didn't they put Charming's mother in here? Could the actress just not show up? Could she not sign a contract? She shows up in season 6. Yeah. Yeah. Hades went through a lot of trouble to keep us from his story. I wonder what his story is. We don't get really any flashbacks with Hades that much, except his cross with Liam. He made a deal with Liam, right? So anyway, what is Hades hiding from us? What's it? We're not going to get much backstory with him and Mount Olympus and Zeus, really. But still, it's nice to know a little about him. It's like learning much about the devil. We actually know a lot about devil. He used to be like the morning star or something, and then he turned on God pretty much. He used to be a nice angel until one day. Yes, the Wicked Witch is coming. Liam threw the pages right into the a gray river. I don't know what that river's called. The green one's the one that's the river Lost Souls. I don't know what the gray river is called, but anyway, it's the Lost Things. I think is where lost things go, not people. Things like objects, and that's where Hades picked up the pages. And one of his secrets is Zelena, the Wicked Witch. He has a secret affair with the Wicked Witch of the West. Woo, we're gonna watch that episode in just a second. But wow, right? This is when the Wicked Witch is coming back, guys. She's coming back, like literally coming back. Wicked Witch is coming. Prepare yourselves, everybody. Prepare yourselves. So yes, Hades went through a lot of trouble to keep us from hearing his story. That's I like what Snowy says. But Henry also said he wants to recreate and rewrite Hades' stories. He wants to rewrite Hades' story, make a better story for Hades. It's just like the devil. You can't redeem the devil, Henry. I think just like Cruella, who never changes, right? Remember, we have a lot of villains on the show that get redemption. They repent. They turn away from their sins, and they pretty much become good heroes. Not everyone's supposed to be like that. I mean, yes, the world's not black and white, but sometimes it's okay to have someone who is just black and white, like Cruella de Vil, and the devil would probably be one of those. That's a hard thought I tried to avoid. Is can the devil actually be redeemed? Then there's no opposition. How can you have good without evil, right? Anyway, you have to have opposition somewhere. um. Anyway. Yes. So yes. I don't think you can. With that said, I don't think you can redeem Hades, Henry. Anyway, we're gonna watch a Wicked Witch episode now. Wicked Witch has some history with Hades, some romantic history, a romance like Valentine's romance. We just had Valentine's Day yesterday, and I'm still facing the effects of the holiday today from getting more gifts from people. So, in conclusion, where this was what I was considering our Valentine's episode. It's not really a Valentine's episode. The only one there is in season one, but and there's other love episodes too that could be considered Valentine's. I think the one of Nimue from last half of the season could have been a Valentine's episode. We have many episodes of Snowy and Charming. There's too much love in the show. Any episode could be a Valentine's episode, but this one's a devil falling in love with the devil kind of Valentine. So this one's interesting. So I guess that's perfect for Valentine's, evil Valentine's Day. You don't usually get that a lot. So we're gonna watch that episode right now. 43 minutes, 45 seconds. Ready? I'm gonna start the countdown. Let's all push play on the count of 0. Okay, 0, not 1. 3, 2, 1, 0. Previously on Once Upon Yep. Yep. Belle's pregnant. Oh yeah, we haven't seen Rumple at all in the episode we just watched. Rumple at all. So Rumple's unborn child and Belle. We haven't really talked about them. Yep, and Hades is about to take their baby, so we gotta stop this. Oh no, and Rumple also works for Hades. Cool. Right? What? My headphones got caught under the wheel. What the heck? What is okay? What? It was so weird. And I broke it. Okay, sorry guys. I broke it. My headphones went under my desk wheel. Well, I still have one earbud, and it's the one that works. That earbud did not work anyway. So as I was saying, we're back in Oz. That's always a good sign. And Zelina's back to her time travel spells. So this flashback was before she faked her death, because she didn't think about doing that when she got back when she got brought back from the dead. Oh my goodness, I can't talk anymore. And she's celebrating the day she was abandoned. She's not celebrating her birthday. Um, she doesn't know when her birthday was. She just knows the day that her mother abandoned her. You ended up killing a guard instead of Dorothy, and you knocked the Wicked Witch out with a curtain. Wicked Witch is so upset, and yeah, there's a lot of dead people, or those Munchkins in Oz. We haven't had an Oz flashback since season 4, right? When Robin went there to steal Electra of the Winded Heart, and then before that, it was season 3. Hades is is remembering the past a little bit. The clock ticked again, so I moved on. I think that was Hades' brother. I mean, Hook's brother. Sorry, not Hades' brother. Zeus isn't dead. He's immortal. Storybrooke. Wow, coincidentally, he wants something from Storybrooke, the present day Storybrooke, not the underworld version where the clock is knocked over. You know, where the living live, not the dead. Belle figured out it pretty quickly because she's seen this happen before with Marion, and so she knows the only people I've seen that turned into other people before is the Wicked Witch. She's the only one that's ever disguised as other people. Wicked Witch, that's not a good thing. You can't disguise as other people. They know you're the only one who could do that. Well, Rumble could do that. He disguised as Hook before, but he's in the underworld right now, so that crosses him off the list. You're the only one with magic, Selena. Hmm. Rumple's about to open a portal to steal Selena's baby. What does Hades want to do with the Wicked Witch's baby? Mel takes the baby from the Wicked Witch and jumps through the portal. That's not the kind of portal we normally jump to. Usually it's like green and bluish, but because this is the underworld and it's like hell, it's like red, yellow, orange, fiery. Those are weird kind of portals. And the baby didn't even come through. They have that's because they landed somewhere else in the underworld. The mother superior of the underworld. Wow, it looks all trashed up. It's just waiting for the mother superior to die and take over. Heal it, Selena. Heal your legs. Oof. Wicked Witch is like not even being evil right now. She's just begging for Belle to be nice. Please just give me the baby. Wicked Witch is trying really hard to get custody over her child, and Regina and Robin, and now Belle is getting in the way of that. We vanished her to Oz at the end of the Camelot arc. Remember? It was like bye bye. They even agreed to start sharing custody right before the Dark Ones tried to kill them. Ah. Yeah, she wants to turn everyone into a pile of stone, and Hades is like, "No need to make more of a mess. You're good." The Munchkins are scared of Hades. The devil is flirting with the Wicked Witch. Okay, everyone keeps calling Hades the devil, and Hades tries to explain, "No, no, no, I'm not the devil." People keep trying to think that. It is technically true. He's just the brother of Zeus, technically. He's not, well, he is the devil in Greek mythology, but since Greek mythology is not true and multiple gods is false, there's only one god. He's just a fictional version of the devil, but not the devil himself. He's not Satan, he's not Lucifer, he's just Hades from the Disney movie. But he is kind of that interpretation of the devil in the Once Upon a Time universe. So he is the worst villain you'll ever see on the show. Nothing's worse than the devil himself. Like, if there was someone worse than the devil, Satan or Lucifer would not be in charge of outer darkness. I think he'd be the servant of whoever was more evil than he was. No one is. So Hades is like probably the evil of all evil in the show. And the fact that he's a god too. All the other villains, even the villains from season 6, are mortal villains. See, what's the funny thing is when you're watching Once Upon a Time, we get a villain and then we get an upgrade. We had Peter Pan, and then the Wicked Witch was like an upgrade version, right? And then the Snow Queen, I would say, is an upgrade version. The Queens of Darkness was only an upgrade. It's not really. Some of these villains we've seen before in season 1. But the reason why I don't say it's a downgrade is because after the Snow Queen, we are used to only having one villain every single season or every single half arc. And the Queens of Darkness was the first time they offered us a team of villains, which I thought was a great upgrade. And then our own protagonist becoming a villain, Emma Swan, was definitely an upgrade from that. And then you can't get anything worse than an evil god, right? You can't get anything worse than that. Like you get an evil living being, but God's more powerful than that. So it's like you can't beat that. That's like the top of the notch. So yes, everything from this point down on is just downhill villains that are not as powerful as the one we're facing right now. This is the most powerful villain of all of the show. Anyone that comes after this is just probably not going to be as exciting, and most people stop watching the show by this point. So I mean, that's understandable. So yes, you may not like season 6 as much as this part of season 5. I don't know, but there are some people that like season 6 better than season 5 actually, so it depends on your opinion, but anyway, one could say that after Hades, not villain no villain gets better than that, and every villain just gets worse. Because yes, we go back to mortal being villains in season 6. Hades is the only god villain once upon a time. Henry is a teenager. That's awkward. Oh yeah, so the blind witch offered Snow and Charming a deal to help them find a telephone booth with the expense of just a breath of fresh life. Okay. And then Henry's trying to write more stories and trying to find Hades' weakness, and he's not doing very well. And the heroes are giving him a hard time, and Henry's just wants a break. That he's a teenager, he can do that. He's just going upstairs, and a random knock on the door shows that Selena's here, and her baby's in danger because Belle had, because her Belle and and the baby arrived in the underworld, and anyway, and Hades wants the baby, so now Regina, Robin, and Selena have to work together to stop Hades. Who celebrates that? Exactly. Hades. So yeah, as a little is celebrating abandonment day. Who does that? Yeah, birthdays are even more exciting than the day your parents abandon you. Anyway, she doesn't know when she was born, so that's why she had to do it that. That's why she celebrates. She disagreed on Hades' offer about the time travel spell originally, but then Hades went to talk to the Wicked Witch and was like, look, I'm the same way. My brother rules Mount Olympus while I'm stuck ruling the underworld. I was punished here by Zeus. If I help you make that time travel spell, I can make sure that I end up on like pretty much celestial heaven, and Hades' brother goes to the underworld. That's what he's saying. And as Lena's seen how hatred and serious he is about doing this, he's like, "Well, I have that same interest with my sister, making sure I cast Ruffles curse and Regina gets thrown off." She wants to change faith. They now are going to try making the time travel spell together, which obviously did not happen because we know she doesn't try it for the first time until she gets the story book in season 3, and these flashbacks all take place before even season 1. Yeah, Belle's pregnant and Belle doesn't know that. Belle's kind of happy. Yeah, baby, that you sold, Ruffle. Oh, you just mentioned your power. You made a mistake. You love your power over Rumple. You just can't get over your drugs right now, Rumple. You can't get over your power of addiction when it comes to like being immortal and full of darkness. Man, you just got rid of all that darkness at the beginning of season 5, and then Emma and Hook were meant to destroy it, and you took it back. This is why we're in the underworld in the first place, because you destroyed Hook's death. And he didn't. Now he doesn't deserve to die because you turned back into a dark one. My goodness. Ah. And a beast. That is not true. You were a man. You were only just a man before you became a beast. Before you didn't. You don't have the darkness. I mean, yeah. I mean, like, yes, you strive for power, but you were fine without it. Like, you survived without it. The only difference is now that I have it. Ugh. Rumple's so toxic. I can't believe Belle is still with him. She should break up with this man. Man, they should get a divorce. Remember, they got married in season 3. They need to get a divorce already. Ah, I told you. I told you. When Rumple first died after killing Peter Pan, he came back and I told you from the beginning of the show, he just goes from good to evil to good to evil. He became evil in season 4. He was good at the start of season 5. He's not really evil right now. He's doing all he can to break the contract and not be stuck being Hades' servant, but he is kind of evil for wanting to turn back into a dark one. That was evil on his part. Even if he has no evil plan, like the sorcerer's hat, like in season 4, he wanted to use the his hat and kill Hook for it. He's not doing anything particularly evil ever since he became the Dark One, but turning into the Dark One took away Hook's sacrifice. Not Marion. You're gonna name her. You're gonna name the daughter after your first wife, Marion. That's funny. Usually, you usually. Yep. Same with Henry. You got Henry too. That's what made you the good queen. Yeah. See, Zelina does care about her child. She does want what's best for her, even if that means she can't see her all the time or be with her or raise her. She loves her daughter. Oh man. Yeah, don't name the child Mary. Normally, you name your baby right after they're born. I mean, yes, the dark one's. Stole the Wicked Witch. The dark one, Emma Swan, was kind of a mess, but she didn't steal the baby like you thought she did at the hospital. She stole just the Wicked Witch. So you could have named the child while just for a quick second before you went off to face Emma, and then Hook, and then now the underworld. You had time a little bit. Yeah, you took some time to grieve over Hook's death. Why not name the child then before you go to the underworld? Honestly, it's been weeks and you still didn't name the baby. Ah! Yeah, probably been months to them. I don't know. I don't know the time frame of the show. Actually, it's like 4 years from the. No, no, it's not. It's a okay. Okay, from beginning of season 1 to the end of season 6, not counting flashbacks, from the time Emma came to Storybrooke to the end of season 6, it's for about 4 years. Um, so yes, the show takes a course of 4 years, and then you jump into season 7, which is a reboot, and it jumps a whole generation. So really, it's like 40, 50 years of present day, but it's a big time jump. Sorry for that little spoiler for season 7. We get a time of a huge generational time jump for the last season of the show. It's kind of crazy. That's why some people wish it ended at the end of season 6, because that means we lose a lot of characters from the old generation of people. So Rod, the Wicked Witch forgot to mention that Belle went with her to the underworld as well, so they thought the baby was in danger. But Belle had her all along. The Wicked Witch should have not left out that detail. Well, she got her magic back right after she took the child. Oh man. Oh man, what a wow, Hades is really on her side and trying to help her to take her child back. Tricked her, tricked her, tricked her. So Snow and Charming went to the phone booth to try to talk to their baby Neil. Like the baby can answer a telephone. A phone booth in the underworld. Wow, if the spirit world had phone booths and we could communicate through phone calls, that would be cool. There's so many people I'd try to call. Mostly people I haven't met. Well, no, there's only one person I have interest that I never met, but there's other people that like people that didn't that died too young and people anyway. You did this. You hurt your own child because you didn't have magic at first, and when Robin gave you the baby, you suddenly had magic, and you used your magic to torture your child on accident. Wow. Never met the scarecrow till now on the show, huh? We met the cowardly lion, did we? No, we didn't. We'll meet the cowardly lion and the Tin Man in season 6 at some point. So many characters to see in season 6. Liam, the other Liam, um, and more Oz characters, and man, I think I mentioned about uh, we get to learn more about Charming's father. There's a lot of things we learned in season 6. That again, it's not. It's kind of all over the place. It's not like the half season arc things. Hey, man, the Underworld should have really got its own season because some of the reason we don't have Charming's mother, some of the reasons we don't have other things like Graham would have been nice to see here. He might have not had any unfinished business, but I could see Charming's mother could have had unfinished business. And seeing his father down here too, yeah. Anyway, and there were so many characters I thought over the weeks that didn't get come up in the underworld, and I'm like, that's enough. You could have had a whole season with each episode based on one of those characters. Like, come on, guys. We, you know, the eighth Dorth, Stealthy. We do get to see him in the underworld, but we don't see him move on. What you mentioned about how a Wicked Witch literally froze Dorothy and took the Scarecrow's brain out. That must have been disgusting. And Hades abandoned her. Aw. Aw, Zelena decided to give up her baby because she couldn't handle protecting her. She ended up being the one to hurt her own child to the point where she can't trust herself to protect her. So she decides to give the baby back to Robin and Regina, and even if it meant never a child again, that's kinda sad. It's again another mother giving up their child, just like Cora did to the Wicked Witch, and the Wicked Witch now did to her own daughter. Wicked Witches, wow. Everyone gives up their child in the show. Snow White and Charming did, Rumple did. Yeah, 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 and Peter Pan did. They did it for selfish reasons. Snow White and Charming were noble when they gave up their child, you know? And Emma did to Henry as well. Yeah! Your whole family, not part of your family. Yes, take down Hades and do it now! Time to go home almost. Not really. We're only on episode 16. This is our only fifth episode in the world. These are 11 episode arcs. Come on. You know we're not going home anytime soon. Actually, next week we'll almost go home. Well, yeah. This is like the Neverland arc, where we were in Neverland for 9 episodes, but then Penn came with us to Storybrooke and switched bodies with Henry. Hades is not gonna switch bodies with anyone, but we do have a similar plot on our hands. We're in the underworld, but it's only like 9 episodes, and then we're gonna spend the last couple of dealing with Hades in the living world, like Storybrooke. So yes, it actually is actually true. We've watched 3 episodes last week, 3 episodes tonight. That means 3 episodes next week, which means we will finish our time in the underworld by the end of next week, but not the underworld arc per se. Just leaving the underworld. You like we're not going to see Storybrooke at all next week. The episode ends where we're just barely leaving the underworld, and then we're going to deal with Hades in the this life, not the afterlife. Because right now we're dealing with Hades in the afterlife, but this life, we're gonna deal with Hades too. See, as we learn, Hades is trapped in the underworld because of Zeus, and the only way he could break free is if he restarts his heart with true love. So, yep, Hades' heart will start again, and he'll be free. So he just needs true love's kiss from the Wicked Witch, so he could be free. Wow, Selena, it is something Hades was doing. He was only pretending to love the Wicked Witch so that he could steal her time travel spell and destroy his brother. But he did actually fall in love with her and changed his mind. And Zelina still doesn't believe him. Yep. He doesn't want to see her face again in Oz. She doesn't want to see his face again in Oz. And Hades is getting very upset. You will regret this, Zelina. Straight from the devil himself. I think she was right. Like that's falling into temptation. Falling in love with the devil, like romantically, and kissing him in the lips. That's temptation right there. Almost unforgivable. If someone falls in love with the devil, is that something you could be forgiven? uh, so plot twist: Hades is not after the time travel spell to destroy his brother anymore. He just loves Zelina so much that he needs her to free him from the underworld. Yes, but he loves Zelina so much that he's um he's he so anyway he just loves Zelina so much he needed to take her child and protect her child from all those silly heroes. Destruction. Yep. The underworld's a place where decay. Despite Hades' best intentions, he has no intentions for things to grow. What are you talking about? Things don't grow here, they decay. Flowers don't bloom. Towers don't go up. They fall down right here on the road. Clock towers we're talking about. Yeah, it looks like Hades doesn't want her baby after all. He just wanted Zelina, and that was the only way to get her in the underworld is by taking her baby. The Wicked Witch doesn't trust Hades though. After all that, it's just too much. I mean, he is literally the devil. Don't trust anything he says. It could be a lie. Maybe he is after that time travel spell. Everything Hades says is a lie. April 15th is Selena's birthday. Okay. It's February 15th, coincidentally. 2 months from today. It's the day after Valentine's. You tortured it out of a Miller's dollar. See, this is what bothers me. Every time the Wicked Witch is on the show, Cora is not. Cora's on the show, Wicked Witch is not. The two actresses need to work together in an episode. That's what happens later in the underworld, and that was my favorite episode of the entire season. I can't wait to watch that with you guys next week. So for centuries and decades, Hades has been waiting for the Wicked Witch. Not really, not decades, centuries. Sorry. It depends when that happened, though. I know there was that 30 years of the curse taking everyone to Storybrooke. So I mean, it has to be at least 30 years. He's waited for decades. I could definitely safely say that he's been waiting decades, for the Wicked Witch, and he will still be, he since the Wicked Witch can't trust him yet. Yeah, Hades is Hades is still Hades, don't start the next episode yet. Hades is willing to wait, even with her in the underworld now, and she doesn't choose Hades over anything else. That's a good choice. Again, don't fall into temptation. I think even though the Wicked Witch was wicked in the flashback, she made one good choice by not falling in love with the devil. And I think that saved her a bunch of misery. And then now, she, as much as she wants to trust the Lord of the Underworld, as much as she wants to fall in love with the devil for say, um, she still can't, because she's trying to do right by her daughter and hopes to have a future with her someday. And the only way to do that is to gain Regina and Robin's trust and be part of the family. And so she doesn't want to join Hades. She just kind of wants to be on the hero team. But she's kind of conflicted and doesn't know if she actually should continue being a villain or actually finally redeem herself. I mean, she kind of tried to do that in the Camelot arc, but Regina never gave her a chance, mainly because she deceived Robin by disguising as his ex-wife. So anyway, I mean, that's almost unforgivable, I guess. She is kind of evil. She was evil pretty much, but after sending her back to Oz, and now she's back for a third time in the show. She's faked her death 3 times. She keeps exiting the show and coming back, every season almost. But her last departure was only 6 episodes ago versus almost a whole season. So I mean, yeah, not that far. But anyway, yeah, she wants to trust Hades, but she can't. And I think she's still making the right choice by not trusting Hades. The moment she decides to make the other choice, she's getting the red flags. Never fall in love with the devil. You do not want the devil as your husband or Hades. He's the devil to me, even though they keep considering him as not the devil. Maybe they just don't want to get too religious or something. But anyway, it's Hades from the Disney movie, yes. So maybe not literally the devil. But if you were to jump in the world of Disney, who would you interpret the devil as? Not Cruella de Vil, probably. Someone who's a god, I would probably say. And that would be Hades. Anyway. Plus he rules the dead. And if anyone had any misfortune of meeting Satan, that would be probably after death. Anyway. Alright. Anyway, yes. So, yes, the Wicked Witch pardons Hades and doesn't join him. And Hades is, again, being like, you'll regret this. But in this time, he's like, okay, I'll be a little more patient with you. If you ever change your mind and decide you want me, yeah, you don't need me. I get it. But if you decide you want me, I'll be here and ready to help you. So, I'd never take Hades' offer. Don't do it, Selena. The Wicked Witch. Anyway, we're gonna start the next episode now. And I don't think we're missing anything else, because before that, she broke up with Hades in the flashback. So we're all caught up. Okay, next episode. Okay, and we're kind of staying on schedule. I noticed I've only talked for like 2 minutes between episodes 15 and 16. And then let's see, I've talked for about 7 minutes here, I think. Oh, let's see, 55, 35. It's 43 minutes, so 38. So I guess about 6 minutes. I've talked for about 6 minutes. So I talked a little bit longer this time in between episodes, but which is giving us more time to do Q&A at the end, except we started 10 minutes late. So by the time this episode ends, it will be exactly 9:30. And yeah, because we started 10 minutes late, I'll go 10 minutes over, but we gotta try to end at 9:40. So yes, we'll at least get to talk for 10 minutes. So good, I'm doing better, right? And as far as before starting our first episode for the night, it was only like I went only 2 minutes overtime, 12 minutes into the recording, when usually we start at the 10-minute mark. So I think we're good. Yeah, now I wasted 7 minutes, so I'm gonna get started. But anyway, I'm doing good at keeping my talk in between episodes and before we start our live. I mean, after we start our live stream, before we start our episodes, both in between and before we start our episodes in general, I'm good at keeping my talk to a minimum until now, because now I'm still rambling on. But we're gonna start the next episode. 43 minutes, 45 seconds. Everyone push play when I say 0. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, 0. Previously on Once Upon a Time. So we dealt with the Wicked Witch, and we dealt with Hook. Yep. Remember Gaston? You remember Gaston? Ha ha ha. Rumple killed Gaston. Remember that? Remember in season one when Belle was engaged to Gaston and then Rumple stole Belle away to save them from the ogres? And then Gaston came to face the beast and Rumple killed him? So this is before Belle's mother died. Remember when Belle's mother died and she went to Arendelle to restore her memories of her mother? This is before that. This is the earliest flashback of Belle. Before she died, and then, before she was a slave to the Dark One. Gaston is being polite by turning around. The other Gaston was kind of forcing Belle into marriage in the Disney movie. This one's like, nope, 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 you're not interested. I'm leaving. It's okay. Bye bye. This Gaston's not as evil as the Disney version. You're playing with your father's pipe, Rumple. Where is your father, by the way? He's still in the underworld somewhere. We met him in episode 12. That's the thing with dark and light. Depends on your point of view. In the end, you save with it the people you love. Uh huh. So if Rumpel wants to stay together with Belle, he has to do things Belle's way, or you don't get a future with her. So anyway, Rumpel has a choice: either follow what his wife tells him to do, or lose her for good. Uh, so yes, turn the darkness into light as Merlin's prophesied events occur. Maybe Rumpel will do that. Maybe Rumpel's the guy. Maybe he can turn darkness into light. Who else said that it was a matter of a point of view? Anakin. I think it's the line is quite clear on what's good and what's evil. Maybe it's not. Some things are in the gray, but so Emma was just about to use her own magic to take everyone's name off the tombstone, and unfortunately, it didn't work. And now a storm is chasing after them, and Snow White just died right before Emma woke up. So that was only a nightmare. Snow White's not dead. There's no storm. There's no Emma using magic. Emma hasn't slept for weeks? Oh my goodness. That would not be good for me. There's a wall, so they were about to use the elevator to go see Hades, and there's a wall there, so no elevator. That's surprising, you'll find another way. Yeah, that's what you said to Henry, "Don't argue with your mother, or your mother." Remember when he said that when Regina said that, "Don't argue with Emma, or me." And now Charming's like, "Emma, don't argue with your mother, Snow White!" Hades is spying on the Wicked Witch as she's walking into a dead version of Granny's. Oh, look, there's a flower growing in the road. And Hades is going to decay it. Things can grow here. You're just lying about it and trying to prevent people from seeing that. You said despite your best intentions, despite your best intentions, things don't grow here, they decay. That's not true. There's a lot of intentions of things growing, and you're just refusing to let it grow. You're lying to the wee witch. Things can grow in the underworld if you let it. Yeah, that's what I was just talking about. And now things are growing, and Hades hates it. Gaston agrees with Lord Hades that these people should not move on. They should be Hades people. They shouldn't move on and be controlled over Zeus. It's like saying, "No, I want you to be my child, not the other person's." So anyway, Gaston's gonna kill the beast. Your prey will be the greatest beast of them all, Rumpelstiltskin. You're gonna kill the beast. Kill the beast. We're getting a Beauty and the Beast episode, which we haven't had since season one. LeFou. Yeah, well, yeah. You've only known Belle for 1 hour, and you're gonna choose to trust her, Gaston. It's not like you're evil. Ah, they found an ogre, not an animal, an ogre. Yes, Dawn is here. You guys should have never. Rumple and Bella are arguing about light and dark magic, and good Rumple's like, you can use light for dark magic. How about that? And he goes, no, turn the light into dark. And they had a huge fight, and now they're walking out of the shop where they're in danger, and Gaston's gonna kill Belle. Or no, Rumple. Sorry. Oh boy. You decided to take Belle to the dock? You're gonna go shipping? You're gonna go anywhere else. Belle did let her optimism cause cloud judgment. Yes, exactly. Hades became weak as soon as Hook's brother moved on. Every time when someone moves on, Hook becomes weak. I mean, Hades becomes weak unless double powerful. And so maybe we should help Gaston move on. I don't think he looks. I don't know. I don't know. I barely know the guy from season one. So Disney version, he's evil and doesn't deserve heaven like kingdom. You run. Nope. Snow White dies. Regina and the Wicked Witch are having a talk about this romantic relationship with Hades. We're halfway through the episode pretty much, and we're finally getting a scene with the Wicked Witch. We're all finally following up from last week's episode. We're too focused on Gaston to care about Wicked Witch now. I have not been talking much in this episode. Emma's dream became real. Everything happened exactly how she dreamt it. The magic, the storm, the wolf. Gaston! We had our Captain Hook episode, our Wicked Witch episode. Now we're getting our Belle and Rumple episode. Yep, I mean that's what was on the pages when Hades picked up the pages of his weaknesses on them. So yes, I mean it. And seeing the rest of the show, they do eventually use the Wicked Witch as leverage against Hades, and since Hades loves her despite his evilness, he will do anything to save her. So yes, the Wicked Witch is one of his weaknesses. He's the only one that has a locker, I think. You're breaking into someone's property. Yeah, because you gave him that book. Rumple's gonna trust his wife. Okay, see if you can change Gaston. Once a villain, always a villain sometimes. You seen that with Koala? I tell you, Hades will never change. A hero's journey. This is when Belle gives Gaston the book. Oh, her handsome hero, hero's journey. Of course, it's not called. The episode's called "Her Handsome Hero." I should have thought of that. Whoops. We talked about Decay a lot. That's what was that last episode title. Our Decay, and then the brother Jones, which makes sense for the Hook and his brother's last name. I had a seminary teacher named Jones and somebody else named Jones on YouTube. Family of Joneses on YouTube. Found a woman of substance. Oh my goodness. Belle's not going in for a kiss from Gaston. Wow, Gaston's well, he's not evil yet. He's acting kind of good. Her handsome hero. He kind of likes them both. Getting colder. It's not Gaston. That's Hades. Belle has finally encountered Hades. Countered Hades. Wow. Finally, they're being introduced to each other. Hades and Belle have not met in the underworld. Belle just arrived here an episode ago, unlike everyone else that's been here for a while. Yeah, Hades is like, love makes you do crazy things with the Wicked Witch. Belle's refusing Hades' deal. That's the right choice. Yeah, let me know if you change your mind. I don't think Belle will ever do that. So disappointing for Hades because Belle will not resist. Belle will always resist temptation. she has the offer to tear up for Hades to tear up the contract of, giving Hades her unborn child. Turned up yeah. So yeah, again, Rumpel offered a deal. I know Hades offered a deal to rip the contract that where he takes Belle's baby away from Belle, and if Belle lets Gaston and Rumpel fight, and one of them falls in the River of Lost Souls. And that's the easiest deal anyone can make because you have to do nothing. Just let them fight. Don't try to stop them. And Belle disagreed. And then now Emma's trying to, but Emma's trying to resolve some issues. And thank luckily we had Regina to come here to set her straight and to let her know that uh just because something seemed real from a dream doesn't mean it actually happens. It was technically a vision. It wasn't a dream. Everything in Emma's dream did actually happen up until, the part that changed was Snow White not jumping in front of the void and killing herself. That was the only thing different. They chose to be cowards, which was probably smart because we don't want Snow White to die. So, luckily Regina had persuasion though to make Emma think it was a dream. So then that way they could face this monster and not be terrified of it. You don't have to worry if someone dies, and it's never your fault, unless you intentionally tried to kill them. You're never usually intentionally trying to kill them, and so it's not your fault, and you can easily forgive yourself. Maybe not easily, but eventually. So don't worry about it. Love is worth it. Face this monster. That's not really a plot twist, only to Gaston. He doesn't know. Gaston doesn't know that Belle and Rumpel got married. Yeah, I guess Gaston's not taking that lightly. Wow. You married the beast that I've been trying to kill? He treats Rumple like an animal, and he's like, "You married an animal? Like a lion? That's gross and not a good offspring." So we're talking a lot about Merlin here when we're not in Camelot anymore. And he's like, Grumple's like, okay, Belle, uh, you know what you said about Merlin turning the darkness into good. I really want to be that man for you, truly, but not today. Rumple, you want to kill Gaston before you decide to be good? That's crazy. Anyway, but whenever you make a deal with Hades, it always backfires with villains, especially when it's like the devil. I think Gaston purposely hurt himself to make the ogres look like a threat, and that's what makes him a villain. He manipulates everybody, even Belle, and tries to kill the ogres. And yeah, now Belle's coming to stop him. Wow. Wow, yeah, Gaston's the monster. That's crazy. Gaston's the one who's evil. He's exactly what everyone says. A hunter for women and who's the other one? Oh yeah, animals. Eternity trapped in these waters. How perfect is that? A beast. A beast. You're the only one who calls him beast. Besides Will's father, of course. He said beast. I remember in season one. No one calls Ruffalo a beast other than Belle and her father. No, kiss on and her Belle's father, not Belle. Oh wait, she says the man behind the beast a lot. So Belle, yes. Three people call him beast. I don't think Regina does. Wow, you stole the dagger from Rumple. Bold move. The same thing happened in the flashback where Gaston found out that he was the villain and not the ogres, and uh, letting the ogres escape. Gaston says, I hope you learn from this act of mercy, Belle. I hope for your sakes that this was worth it." Yada yada yada. And then now in the underworld, same thing's happening where Rumple stops killing Gaston, and and Rumple's like, "I hope this was worth it." But it wasn't, because then Gaston went to attack Rumple again, and when Belle tried to stop him, she ended up pushing him into the River Lustles. So Gaston is just pure monster evil. The mirror even shows it. So he's not redeemable, and Gaston will never get a heaven-like place. Not with the evilness and the hardness of his heart. And which I think if the mirror says you're a monster, there's no healing from that. Not from Gaston. Gaston's now in eternal torment, outer darkness, celestial hell, whatever you want to call it. Spirit prison. Yep. Guess Belle doesn't want to be with Gaston, but she's doing this to save her kingdom. She's accepting to marry Gaston just for the kingdom. It's called an arranged marriage. It's what kings and queens used to do with their children. Before you could choose who you could marry, you had to marry who you were. You had to be. You had to marry by arrangement instead of choice. So Belle and Gaston are engaged, and then you know what happens next? Who saves them from the ogres? It's actually Rumpelstiltskin, and then Belle goes to live with Rumple, right? And then she gets locked in Regina's tower. Now you know how the story connects. We got the whole story of Beauty and the Beast completed now, in this flashback right here. What? Yeah, that was a plot twist. You were expecting Belle to push Gaston in the river. See, Hades always goes back on his deals. Never make a deal with the devil because they backfire. No, Belle still owes her child to Hades. I never want to give my children to the devil. My goodness. It's all Rumple's fault. Well, you gotta accept. Sometimes darkness wins. So not everyone gets a happy ending. Just Gaston. Yeah, well, yeah. Of course, he didn't order anything wicked. But she's been in Granny's the entire episode. She had a talk with Regina, and that's about it. There was nothing Wicked Witch related. It was mostly Gaston. She got a gift from Hades, and it's just a dead flower, decayed flower. Nothing grows here. Here. Anyway, but yes, Belle's like, I guess no matter what, darkness always wins. That is actually not true, Belle. You would still believe in light. Just because one fell doesn't mean there's no light at the end of the tunnel. Just because darkness won once, it's not the overall war. Okay. Anyway, well now they're sobering over the fact they didn't save their child, but that's okay because the deal wasn't fulfilled since Belle pushed Gaston the river, not Rumple, or the other way around. Gaston and pushing Rumple. Anyway, but yes, they hunted down the monster, and it turns out to be a wolf. And who do we know that turns into a wolf? We even saw her in the Red Riding Hood episode last half season. It's Red Riding Hood. She hasn't actually came in contact with our present day story characters since season 3. Remember, we saw in the Merida episode that distracted us from the main plot. Um, we saw we saw um we saw the episode's over. I know. We saw when Merida was going to help no, when Red Riding Hood was going to help Merida find out the killer of her father. We saw that, we saw in flashback that Red Riding Hood found a magic bean and used it to make a portal and jumped to the Enchant Forest after they defeated the Wicked Witch in the time travel, right? Episode. And then so anyway, they do that, and she goes and meets up with Mulan, and well, she finds the witch and becomes her guard dog, and then she meets Mulana and helps Merida find her killer, and then she go and then and now somehow she's made her way to the underworld, and I know who else she comes across, but I'm not going to spoil for future episodes. Anyway, so yeah, so Red Riding Hood, I guess, made her way to the underworld. She's not dead, if that's what you're thinking. But she used to be a regular main character. They actually promoted her as a series regular to be in like almost every single episode of the show back in season 2, and then they got rid of it. So she was meant to be a main character the whole time. So she could have gone to Neverland with us and scared Peter Pan off by being a wolf. She could have gone to Oz, Arendelle. She could have had it all, but she missed all the adventures because she got demoted after season 2. I'm like, what happened? Your promotion only lasted a season. Went from just ensemble character to series regular. Now you're just guest starring, and you guest starred in the Camelot arc, but you weren't in Camelot. You were in Dumbrook, so I wouldn't count that. And well, at least you made it to the underworld. Out of all the half seasons and all the lands we went to, you go to the very last stop, the underworld, obviously. So, okay, the reason why I say last stop is, again, we're not doing half season arcs after this, and a lot of it's going to be in Storybrooke next season. I mean, we will see other lands, but no, we're not traveling there. Like, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Well, we didn't travel to Oz either. The Wicked Witch was in Story. Okay. But it was Oz themed. We were facing the Wicked Witch for 11 episodes. There is no more 11 episode arcs. That's what I'm saying. It's much like season 2. Do we go to Wonderland? No. But do I count that as a Wonderland arc? Not really. Mainly because it wasn't 11 episodes long. Anyway, yes. And then, you have the whole curse that was season 1. And yes, we had flashbacks to the Enchanted Forest, but they were flashbacks. We're talking about present day here. And all the other realms were present day. So anyway, yes. So yes, again, last half season, last stop, Underworld. Red Riding Hood's back. That'll be exciting. Can't wait to get into the next episodes. We got exactly 9 minutes left. We actually had 12 minutes, but now I spent like 3 minutes talking about what we just witnessed at the end of the episode. But yeah, now we have 9 minutes left. So normally I live stream would end now, but we start 10 minutes late. So I need a whoa, I got comments here. Just a couple people saying hi, what's up? We are watching together. How are you? So Mickelson and Maihu are watching. Wow. Okay. Cool. Some old friends from my companions from my mission. So yes, I actually failed to check the comments a lot during our whole watch through of Once Upon a Time. So I didn't realize that. There's obviously, I wish we would have more YouTube comments, but we don't. So anyway, okay, so coming up next week, so yeah, I was just gonna check the comments really quick. So next week, we will get a little bit more of Oz, and my favorite episode of the entire season we'll get to watch next week, so that'll be exciting. We'll finally get to have Prince Charming and his twin brother meet. This is and remember when I kept saying how the Queen of Hearts, whenever the Queen of Hearts is present, the Wicked Witch is not, and whenever the Wicked Witch is present, the Queen of Hearts is not. Cora and Zelina never seem to have any chance to try to have chemistry together because they're mother and daughter, and they haven't even made up for abandonment yet. I was wondering if that was ever going to happen, especially with the Underworld arc and having so many villains come back from the dead. I was like, it would be, we are going to finally have that. It did actually happen. I was joking about how that never happened just to kind of upset you guys. But so yes, we're going to watch that next week. I can't. And then also there's a really nice episode too, followed by that, where we'll get a flashback a little bit of Emma trying to, Emma Swan, who was growing up an orphan, trying to figure out who her family is. We'll get a nice emotional flashback about her time in the real world, before she met Neil, and but after becoming an adult. Anyway, nice stuff going on. Because again, this is kind of similar to the Neverland arc, where you were in Neverland for 9 episodes and then Pan came to Storybrooke for two. So with that said, we just watched 6 episodes of the Underworld. We still have like 6 episodes left of the Underworld arc itself, but you know, as far as being in the actual underworld, like life after death area, we have 3 episodes left, so we're gonna finally finish that part of the storyline next week. But we'll then have to follow up dealing with Hades in the real world, in our world. And so anyway, so yes, so hey, so yes, so again, so that is kind of a spoiler, and I'm sorry about that, but they do not defeat Hades in the underworld. So yes, it will eventually cut. They'll eventually make it back with Hades to our world. So anyway, yes. So it is not. It's kind of complicated because it's not wrapping the underworld arc. It's not wrapping up Hercules arc. It's just wrapping us. So next week, get ready to say goodbye to all the people that are dead. Don't say goodbye to Hades yet. We're gonna deal with him in this life, in the weeks following after next. But anyway, but yes. So basically, we have another Oz episode, an emotional reunion between mother and daughter, who've never seen each other since the daughter was a baby, and stuff. And so it would be nice for them to make amends and forgive each other. Do you forgive me for abandoning you? Yada yada yada. And then Charming's twin brother, and then everyone's gonna eventually leave the underworld, but Hades is going with them. So anyway, so yes, this arc, we're halfway through it though. We're halfway through the underworld arc. So yeah, the Greek mythology built into a fairy tale show. So yeah, so that's gonna be exciting. And then we're just a few weeks away from reaching season 6. Um so yeah, that's gonna be exciting. I'm trying to think of what else to say just to buy time. Okay, 4 minutes. I just saw the clock change. 9:35, 9:36. 4 minutes left of the live stream. Okay, what to do? Hang on. Oh, I got a lot of love and a lot of likes too, not just comments. Okay. What else to say before this live stream ends? I should actually answer these comments. Maybe I'll talk to them privately. um, who knows if my old companions are watching this still after minutes later. I'll reply, but maybe I might text them privately later. Okay. So yeah, I should have really the one. Okay, I'm usually good, but there's not a lot of people comment on my live stream. So a lot of times I check and I don't find anything, and so the one time I don't check, there's definitely more comments. Usually I get a lot of highs and hellos from all my family members, but never my companions. Not the first time. We had members from even ward members from my mission show up on my live streams before, and they're like, I don't know what this is or what you're talking about, but I came here to say hi and jump in for a few minutes. Yep. Yep. Not everyone knows that we're watching Once Upon a Time. They're probably even wondering what I mean by underworld, afterlife. No, no, no. This is not a church. Okay. Okay. So, okay. Maybe I should have, if I would have known they were watching, maybe I could have spent a lot of my commentary time talking about what the show's about, because a lot of people who weren't here from our first live stream are sometimes jumping in just knowing that I didn't know that I did live streams every Sunday night and want to see what I do on here. It's a Once Upon a Time marathon, a fairy tale TV show I was obsessed with as a child. I used to do a marathon once every year. My mission kind of ruined that tradition of doing a marathon once a year. I had to skip 1 year of doing it. I did kind of do it on my service mission though. So I got away with not skipping 2 years of doing the marathon. I didn't finish the marathon during my service mission. I kind of stopped at about halfway through. Lord's work is more important. So let's just long story short. After that, after my mission, I didn't do a marathon actually. I should have done one when I finished in 2023, but I didn't. And then I didn't do one in 2024. And I realized after not watching Once Upon a Time in a while, since 2022, and again, not even finishing it. So as far as the end of the series is concerned, 2021, I think I didn't. No, I didn't. 2020. Yeah. It's 2021. I spent most of that year in Arkansas. Oh, by the way, if they are still watching this, maybe not, but I went back to my mission, and I was doing this live stream every Sunday, and I overlapped 2 Sundays. There is one live stream. It's not on Facebook anymore, but you can find it on my YouTube channel. It's titled "Once Upon a Time," Season 1, episodes 16 and 18. In that live stream, that's when I went back to visit my mission, and I didn't cancel my marathon. I did my live streaming down there. Because when you go back and visit your mission and you're not a missionary, you don't have to follow mission rules. Anyway, so I did my Once Upon a Time live stream. I watched Once Upon a Time in the Little Rock, Arkansas mission. Anyway, the 2 areas I did it in, because I overlapped 2 Sundays. I went, I started in Hope. For those who do know, I started in Hope and went to Boonville. The first live stream is in Hope, in our Hope apartment. And we talked to the branch there. They didn't remember, because I was only there for 5 weeks. They didn't remember me until I mentioned the seizure, because I was the only missionary they ever knew that had a seizure. So once I mentioned seizure, they did, but they didn't remember me before mentioning that. So yes, we did it in my Hope hotel. And yeah, Once Upon a Time's about hope. That's perfect. Maybe the show will finally make the town thrive. And we went to visit my aunt and uncle down there as well. So anyway, oh yeah, and we passed, yeah, and the missionaries don't live in that little house anymore. They live somewhere else, but they found out there was black mold. And so anyway, there's and black mold can cause seizures, so maybe that's what caused it. But anyway, yeah, we even went past the little blue shed. But someone else lives there, so obviously we couldn't approach it. But anyway, it was nice to see that. I tried to take a quick picture of it. I remember that was a year ago. I've been doing this marathon since April of 2025, and we went to visit my mission in May. And so anyway, oh yeah, time's up. It's 9:40. We got to wrap up. But anyway, but yes, I did my first live stream in Hope, and then if you look through my YouTube channel, the live stream title "Once Upon a Time" Season 1, episodes 19 through 22 reaction, that was in Boonville. I went to Jonesboro right in between that, but it didn't, again, I only overlapped 2 Sundays. So Jonesboro was like the middle of the week, and then I went to Boonville at the end of the week. So the last live stream of Season 1 basically was in Boonville, Mississippi. So speaking of my mission, I have record of doing this marathon where I went back to visit my mission. So anyway, I thought that was kind of cool to mention, since I have some companions who were just watching a little bit ago. 45 minutes ago. So anyway, I'm gonna end the live stream now because it's 9:40. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great week. And this year we're going to Hollywood. So if that ever overlaps, I'm not gonna overlap 2 Sundays for this trip. I don't care about Hollywood that much, not as much as Arkansas. And the fun thing about vacations is you should just be in one hotel the whole time. You shouldn't keep moving. That was exhausting, honestly, but worth it, so I could revisit everybody. Took me 4 years to do that. Wait, no, 3 years. Well, yeah, 3 years since I left. Anyway, oh, and I met with President Larson, and I think we're 10th, 8th cousins, something like that. Okay, we're not that much related. But anyway, I used to make the joke they called the wrong mission president. But then I wouldn't be doing this marathon right now. If I was mission president. All right. Anyway, well, hope you have a great night. My mom just jumped on to say hi. She has no idea my companions are on here. They also said hi. Some of my companions jumped online and found out about my marathon, Who and Mickelson. That's kind of cool. Just wanted to mention that now that she's been watching. But I'm gonna end the live stream now. God be with you till we meet again. Episodes next week. Woohoo! I hope let's not be too excited, because I don't want to leave the underworld too soon. But yeah, God be with you till we meet again. I'm always gonna end Facebook first before YouTube. Okay. So yes, we started 10 minutes late. Sorry. It takes forever to get my parents out of the car into the car. But anyway, but regardless whether we start 10 minutes late or not, adding 10 minutes to the live stream, we're still going over time by 3 minutes, even without those 10. So I'm stopping right now. I'm done talking. Bye.